Don't let your current struggle become a permanent story, because in reality, you've come too far and you've sacrificed too much for you to stop now and let all that be for naught. You are not crazy for wanting to quit, because this is the part where most people fail, not knowing just how close they were. And this is for those of us who are really hard on ourselves. Your mom's gonna try to convince you that you're not making progress, and it's gonna look like you're not getting many views, you're not getting any sales. Everything just looks like you're doing this for nothing. But in reality, you're building. Because progress is not always gonna be stardom, and it's not always gonna be in your face. But in the background, you're building what you need to get to the next level. You just have to trust the process. Because little by little, you keep building, you keep stacking, you keep building, you keep stacking. All those little pieces of effort, eventually they will build into something big that when you look back, it won't even feel special. It'll feel like I went through so much, like this is the very least I should have. And that's how success really is. It's not gonna be instant, it's not gonna be glamorous. But to everyone else who really doesn't understand what success is behind the scenes, they'll look at it and be like, wow, he's an overnight success, or he got lucky. In reality, you shed blood, sweat, and tears to get where you were, and people don't understand that, and that's fine. Don't expect them to. But in the end, the question really is, can you stick to all the bullshit you'll be put through to get to success? Can you deal with all the late nights, all the unpaid hours, all the feelings of failure, all the people saying no and rejecting you for your ideas, people walking away from the sales? Can you handle that? Because if you can, you're in a great position to build a long-lasting legacy, to build wealth, to build success. And the main reason why it's so hard is because you're doing something you've never done before. But if you think about it, if you keep at it, even though it doesn't look like progress, it will happen. I mean, you weren't born out of the womb knowing how to drive, knowing how to ride a bike, knowing how to speak English. But over time, as you continue to practice these things and do these things over and over again, now you've been, walking for decades now. You've been speaking English for decades now. You've been able to ride a bike for however long. You just needed to keep doing it over and over and over again until eventually it's natural and it's not really a celebration. I doubt anyone's waking up and it's like, yo, I'm 30 years old, I know how to drive. I've been driving for 10 years, that's a celebration. Like, no, dude, I've been driving every day. It's normal. I better know how to fucking drive by now. You know what I mean? And that's the same thing it's gonna be with, doing that thing you wanna do, whether it's like getting a fit body or building that business you want. You know what I mean? You just have to do the thing over and over again to the point where when you get it, it won't even be a real celebration. It'll just be like, oh, like I better have fucking been here by now. I put in so much fucking work into this shit. Like, it'd be ridiculous for me not to. And that's how you do it. You just have to put in so much time that there's no other option but for you to succeed. Now, it's easier said than done because there's going to be confusion. There's going to be, again, more rejection. But it's all a part of the process, because if it were easy, then everyone would do it, and everyone did it, it wouldn't be valuable. So, like, for example, right? People told Oprah that she wasn't fit for TV. Michael Jordan got cut from his high school basketball team. Howard Schultz, the founder of Starbucks, got rejected 242 times. 242 times. But what I'm trying to say is they got told no, they got rejected, they faced brutal hardships, right? But they kept going and kept going and kept going. And now we know Michael Jordan is arguably the best of all time. We know Oprah as one of the most popular faces on TV of all time. We know, you might not know Howard Schultz, but you know his franchise, you know his company, Starbucks, obviously. And so what I'm trying to say is that the power of not giving up and staying consistent and staying persistent is very real, and it is the way to really get what you want, right? I'll wrap things up with this. Don't let your current struggle become a permanent story, because in reality, you've come too far and you've sacrificed too much for you to stop now and let all that be for naught. It just doesn't make sense, and it would hurt your soul, especially as you're older, to look back and think, like, man, when I was young in my 20s and 30s, man, I was really going after this dream I had, and then, this one thing happened and I gave up. I wonder what would have happened if I didn't give up. That, I hope you can understand how painful that would be, because there's nothing you can do at that point. So please do not give up. Do not let your efforts be for waste. Keep going. I don't know if you need me to tell you this, or if you want someone close to you to tell you this. They might not tell you this, but I'll tell you this. All right? You have what it takes. Don't think for a second that you don't have what it takes. You do. Because we all bleed the same. We all bleed the same. We all breathe the same air. Like, there's nothing you really can't do if you put your mind to it. You just have to apply yourself and keep going, even when it doesn't make sense, even when it seems hard, even when it seems like there's no point to it. Who cares? You only live one life. You don't get a redo. You don't get to fucking respawn back and be like, oh, I know, how to make things better. Like, no. Every single second you waste, you're getting older and closer to death's door. So while you're here on Earth, just do your best to make a difference, okay? Do your best to live to your full potential. I'm sure you've heard this in like somewhere on social media, but could you imagine what it'd be like if you were to die, and once you die, you were able to see all the different versions of yourself, of like what you could have been? What would you even say to the version of yourself that like became a neurosurgeon or a philanthropist or a multi-billion-dollar corporation enterprise CEO, whatever? You would be so sad to know that you could have done that if you would have stuck to what you were doing at first, or just applied yourself in the beginning, period. But instead, you're letting it get to you? Absolutely not. So again, just want to say, just keep going. You have what it takes, and don't let what you're going through right now become a permanent struggle for you in your life. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.